Hello, hello, my lovely Saggies. Welcome to Vivid Vibration. My name is Christina, and I'm going to be doing your general read for the upcoming month of November. I hope that y'all are doing well. All good things. Let's see what's going on with my Saggies. The womb. Got things happening here. The poet. I feel like you guys have had the poet in your read a few times. Okay. We have the unseen, the hunter, the lover, the threshold, the womb, and the poet. Saggies. Okay, so I mean, the unseen is the idea of, I mean, a lot of times it's like dreams. God, I heard something earlier today. I was watching this guy who has, you know, like he shares his dreams and incorporates them in his reads, and he talked about a time that he had a dream where he broke his foot, and it, you know, like it fractured, like it was completely broken in half, and he woke up and he was like, oh wow, you know, like that was an intense dream. And then later that week he fractured his foot, and the idea that the dream itself had seemed really extreme and really, you know, like frightening in its nature, but that in all reality it was just like a this is what's happening, and you don't know when it's going to play out or how it's going to play out. You just know that like it's going to happen in some manner. And I've thought about dreams that I've had in the past and how I've witnessed them play out, but they weren't as extreme as the dream was, and just kind of, and it always was like this point of relief. And I share that story to share with you guys, you know, this card, because I kind of get the feeling that there's just this something that you can't explain, you know, but you just have this sense for it. Like, I don't know, and maybe it feels inflated in your mind, right? Like, I think that's the point of this story, is that whatever it is, it feels inflated to you. It feels frightening. And so you're just kind of like, I think you're aware of it, but you're not sure entirely what it is you are aware of. And so you're almost like hyper aware. And then you have the hunter, which I feel like is pretty self-explanatory in its nature, but it's just the idea of knowing what you want and going for it. And you know, then I would definitely want to go to the threshold, because I feel like that's kind of this idea of crossing over from this obscurity into an understanding of what's on the other side, however you get there. And finding, you know, the womb, the lover, and the poet. Again, it's this idea of safety and security, and I mean, the poet is mystic in their nature, and just this knowing and this understanding. And I almost kind of get the feeling that there's this idea from going from knowing, from not knowing but knowing, into like really knowing but seeing it through a lens that feels more protective than uncertain. You know, maybe less inflated. I don't know how that just, it is. It feels less inflated, but not less magical. Because I feel like some of my Saggies are like, but I want magic, I want passion, I want, you know, fiery spirit. And I feel like this is saying that while what you're moving into is something that's, I want to say, like a healthy, safe relationship, it's also something that plays with your mind. You know, like they can have a conversation with you and challenge you and pull you in, and you know what I mean, like just kind of like unwrap the world for you in a way that I think there was a part of you that was kind of afraid of, is what I want to say. you know, like there was just this hesitation, and I feel like this hesitation is coming from a place of like something that's inflated in your mind, possibly a dream. I mean, you know, the unseen speaks to the idea of, you know, seeing spirits, you know, people from your past, you know, like visiting in your dreams, or you just having dreams of things that are happening, all that kind of stuff. Okay, what else can we get here for my Saggies? The Hermit, the Seven of Wands, and the Ten of Pentacles. I just want to go back to the unseen, because I feel like whatever this inflated idea or fear that you've been experiencing, and I don't want to minimize it, because I don't, you know, it's important to be aware of your, like, how you feel and why you feel it. But I think that there's an element of trepidation that came along with this that really made you feel like pulling away, so that you could figure it out, you know, like what's happening. I don't know what that's happening toward, but this, you know, the Ten of Pentacles is this idea of just this fulfillment and you know, success. I mean, Pentacles is financial success, so you know, maybe it is that you're experiencing something at work that is, you know, really just giving you an opportunity to rise up, or maybe you're just having a great time. You know what I mean? Like maybe you're in this state of movement, you know, going from this, I can see how this will be okay, to bam, like it's okay now, like 0 to 60, I turned this ship around. I almost want to say, like, once it made sense. And I don't know if that's you or the other person. You know, these stories can play out on either side, so it could be that you're on one side and or the other. Energy is fluid, gender neutral, all such things. Okay, what else can we get here for my Saggies? Okay. Oh my goodness. Holy shit. Okay, so you had the Empress, Hierophant, Temperance, the Fool, and the Chariot. As well as the Nine of Swords, the Nine of Swords, or Wands, I'm sorry, and the Ace of Pentacles. So I don't know if there's an opportunity that's coming in for you guys that maybe you have to move toward this, or like you're making a decision to move towards something that like maybe you weren't very sure about, you know, and so you had to kind of like pull away and like make a decision on which direction it felt like you needed to go. And I almost want to say that once you make that decision to move, that everything that happens very quickly, you know, from the Ace to the 10. I mean, it's just this idea of fast movement. I mean, the Hunter, again, with the speed. And then the Chariot is also a card of movement. I mean, there's a lot of power behind this decision, you know, that I think you feel very confident in, but that also is requiring you to take a leap of faith that doesn't feel like it's really requiring that much faith. You know, like it feels like it's a really solid decision, and it'll bring your life into balance in really big, meaningful ways, and that, you know, it allows you to embody, you know, your heart and your mind. You know, I mean, these are all beautiful cards. You know, and the Fool is just this idea of setting off and doing it. You know, not carrying the baggage with you, leaving it behind. Ooh, one of my Saggies, Holly. She says that you people are impressed by the fact that she's always able to not let things hold her back, you know. And I feel like it's very Saggy in its nature. She represents well, but it's that idea of not letting anything hold you back, you know. Like maybe you were afraid, you know, you had this inflated idea, and you allowed it to hold you back. But it's almost like once you decide it's not going to hold you back anymore, you cross over into, I want to say, all the things that you wanted and I think had hoped for, but were just a little afraid of. And yet, I see nothing to be afraid of, you know? Okay, let's see what else we can get for my Saggies. Okay. I feel like my fire signs have been on some like heavy transitionals, you know, just like emotional self-discovery. But I don't feel like there's a lot of self-discovery here. I feel like there's almost just this High Priestess again, which trust, you know, like I feel like you just really trust yourself. You trust that you acquired an understanding of why you move the way you move, and rather than carrying with you like the baggage of things that had happened before, you're like, no, well, you know, like, okay, well, I figured that out now, you know, like I don't need to be second guessing myself anymore. You know, I'm creating magic now. You know, I've been over here focused. And again, you know, the Knight of Pentacles, you know, is a very hermetic feel to it. You know, it's just that idea of like, I'm just going to pull away and I'm going to really focus on me and what it is that I want to do and who it is that I want to be, you know, because there's this fear, this trepidation of, you know, this idea of something that's inflated itself in your mind, that made you need to pull away and stop for a second. But once you move, again, I get the feeling that you're going to move quickly, and it might seem like something came out of nowhere, but I don't get the feeling that it did come out of nowhere. You know, again, because it comes with this very stable, very sound, very logical backing. You know, and the High Priestess is that pulling on your intuition, pulling on your knowledge, you know, creating your magic, whatever that is for you, you know. And I get the feeling that for you, in a lot of ways, that's this idea of passion, you know, mindful passion. The Chariot and the Hunter definitely lend to the idea of forward movement in a big way. So I don't know if it's forward movement in your romantic life, in your professional life, in your social life. I don't know how that plays out for y'all, but it looks like big movements in positive manners. Okay, let's see what else we can get for my Saggies. The Empty Room. You know, that goes to the Hermit. Okay, we got a few, so we're just going to dive in a little bit. The Hermit, I'm pulling away, you know, feeling, and the empty room, it makes me think of the bedroom, which again makes me think of dreams. So I don't know if some of my Saggies have been having dreams lately, but like you've just really been needing to like pull away and think about it and like figure out why it is that you're having these experiences or these thoughts. And because I think that they make you nervous, they make you feel like what's happening. But I think that once you're able to kind of cut away with this, I guess I want to say destination stagnation, you know, once you're able to cut away with whatever this inflated idea of being in this new place, we'll say, being in this new place emotionally, being in this new place in a relationship, in however. But like the idea that if you enter into this relationship, you're gonna get stuck. And I feel like that's kind of like this, I'm not so sure, I really need to like think about this for a second because I just don't know how I feel about it type of energy. And then moving, and then once you decide to make that, I don't know what it is that triggers that for you, but it feels like it's something that just like you can't stay away from it or them. It's like this call to you, or a call that you send out to them. I don't know. Take it how it resonates. But whatever it is, it feels like it's on that level of like intuition. Like it may not even be something that you have a conversation about. I don't know, because it just feels like this, like you have a hang up that's inflated, and once you, for whatever reason, decide to move past it, you're doing this logically. You're doing this in a thought out manner. Because the Empress is not, I mean, the Empress and the High Priestess, I mean, these bitches know what they doing. Okay? So you know what you're doing. And you're moving towards it. And the Eternal Child popped out. And, you know, this card is a card that kind of speaks to the idea of, I feel like you guys have had this card in a lot of your reads, honestly. But it's the idea of being curious, of always wanting to understand why, always wanting to know. And I feel like that, again, you know, Saggies, is that, okay, I'm ready to know, I'm ready to go, I'm ready to figure it out, I'm ready to explore, I'm ready to see what will come of this. I'm letting go of this inflated fear that I have of something that I can't explain. And if I can't explain it, then I have to explore it, is almost what I want to say, is your mentality behind it. And when you decide to do that, you go for it, and you're drawn to whatever it is. I mean, whatever it is that you've been kind of leery of is something that you also want, I think. You know? I think maybe that's why you've been leery of it, is because you do want it. But I don't know. You'll have to let me know how it resonates. Thank you so much for spending some time with me, and I hope that y'all have a wonderful holiday season. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye.